DJ, you return to the podcast. A man greater for a sporting extravaganza.
I had a big weekend, didn't I?
You did?
Yeah.
Talk me through it.
Well, it all started back in 1993, January 7th. So I was at the track on Saturday for the first day of the Winter Carnival.
And how was that?
It was outstanding, not going to lie. It was very busy at Doomben without being to the point where it was a bit cumbersome, I'll say.
And I love that word.
Yeah, it's one of the great words. Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of people there, good atmosphere. You know, great day of racing. There was a few roughies that got up. There was a few odds on favourites that got up. So all in all, it was a great day. And, follow that up with a different type of sport in the evening, one that's usually played in casinos. So basically we built this big chocky wheel at Macca's house. We played chocky wheel. And then on the Sunday, obviously had to partake in Magic Round to watch my beloved Dragons get ravaged by the sin bin early on against Storm, the Melbourne Storm. But, Magic Round was good. It was very busy. Just love rugby league fans.
Caxton Street, did you venture to?
I did. I may have had a dabble in the liquid gold beforehand.
Stunning. Beautiful. Mother's milk.
It was delicious. And let me just say that there's something really special and sacred about a Brisbaneite having mother's milk prior to heading down to the Cauldron, Lang Park, Suncorp Stadium, and watching some rugby league. That is quintessential Queensland.
Well, that's a rugby league pilgrimage as far as I'm concerned.
It's a rugby league pilgrimage. I reckon they should bring back whenever the Blues play us up here, they should bring back the team bus that used to drive down Caxton Street, and all the Queensland punters would come out in the street and rock the bus and throw bottles at it and stuff like that.
I couldn't imagine being in that bus. I'd be terrified.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in that bus because there's no way I'd put on that jersey.
Yeah, well, that is a fair shout. But last time they beat Queensland in Queensland, is that 2005? Is that Joey? Are we going back that far?
Oh, no, they've won in Suncorp Stadium more recently than that.
Okay. Just imagining stuff. Well, what I wanted to start this podcast off with is Magic Round. And brilliant concept, but strange that they brought in that, I guess you call it
Crackdown?
a crackdown on head-high contact. How are these for some stats? 3 send-offs. Now...
It's too soon, but anyway. Keep going.
3 send-offs. When's the last time there was 3 send-offs in a weekend, let alone a rugby league season?
Oh, God knows, mate. God knows. So Josh Papali, Faumiona, can't remember his first name. He's a Dragons player, I should know. But
and Herman Easy.
Yeah.
SA.
SASE was the silliest because it came just after the Dragons game and it was so blatant. But anyway.
I know Faumiano, apologies if that is not indeed your name, but his was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But separate to that, there was also 14 sin bins. Now, I was listening to some podcasting during the week, Bloke in a Bar and all those experts, and they were saying that although there was a lot of send-offs and sin bins, the amount that were actually head-high related was not that many. Like, obviously, the send-offs were, but of the sin bins, it was probably a quarter of them, maybe a third of them. So I thought that was quite interesting, but I want to ask you a question.
Go on.
As a fallout of a game of rugby league, is that the worst game in Dragons history?
Yeah, we've been blasted to smithereens. Absolutely. We've had to recall Gerard Beale from the retirement slumber party he was hosting to come put the red V back on and be a reserve because we don't have any centres left. On the weekend, we had Tyrell, I just remembered his first name, apologies, Tyrell, who got sent off and now is being suspended for 5 weeks playing in the centres when really he's more of a sort of lock second rower.
in the 11th minute of the game, he got sent off.
Yeah, and long term, I agree with what the NRL's doing because all the statistics around concussions and all the research going into concussions, it's for player welfare in the long term.
And I don't think the situation at the Roosters is helping either, with Jake Friend retiring and Boyd Cordner stuck on the sidelines.
Oh, certainly, yeah. And 10 years ago, they'd be still playing right now. You would think. So we've come a long way in that research, and we do have to take heed of that. So I completely appreciate that. It is something that needs to happen, but gee whiz, it was brutal sitting there in Suncorp, and I was just crestfallen because, like you said, in the 11th minute, I thought if we win this game, it'll be the greatest Dragons victory of all time, apart from the grand final win in 2010. God bless them.
And at halftime, mate, you were in the game. It was a great game of footy up until halftime.
Yeah. Oh, they showed some fights, so I can't be too disappointed. But as a supporter, and I was in the Dragons section, so everyone around me was wearing a red V except for G, my girlfriend who goes for the Storm, which is funny. And they were just defeated because it just, in the 11th minute, you're like, okay, cool, we're going to lose this game now. But,
okay. I don't want to rub salt into the wounds, but I am.
Play on.
So this is the fallout of this game of rugby league. So you have Josh Maguire. He was sin-binned at the 9th minute, 2 minutes before Fuimiano.
Yeah.
Fuimiano. Oh, I'm so sorry. Fui. So 9th minute of the game, he gets sin-binned. He gets suspended twice throughout the game, and he misses 5 weeks. Now, the first one, did that not just like bump up off his shoulder or the ball, and he got sent off for that, or sin-binned for that?
Who, Torrell?
No, Josh.
No, it was like a hip drop.
No,
or was that the second one?
No, that was the second one. So the one he got sin-binned for, he didn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. It was a sort of a graze off the shoulder into the head.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Anyway, so he gets 5 weeks. Fui gets 5 weeks and sent off. Ravalawa.
Yeah.
He gets 2 weeks for a shoulder charge. That made no sense to me. And that was his first game back.
After missing 2 weeks with a shoulder charge, yeah.
Tariq Sims got a week.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what he did.
Nor can I.
McCulloch is in... he's 50-50 to play. Is he
he's 50-50, yeah. He's in the squad, but yeah.
10 stitches to his head. Dufty does his AC joint. So by those calculations, to me, that's approximately 20 weeks of injury and suspensions.
Yeah, it hurts. It really does.
I also read during the week that the Broncos are targeting Dufty.
Oh, they may be. Who knows? To be honest, I haven't read a lot into rugby league news this week because I was all rugby leagued out after a magic round on the weekend. So
or lack thereof.
Yeah, so I have seen the suspensions and I am disappointed, and that's just a real quick way to derail your season in one game. So literally, it's tough to lose, and then with the fallout, yeah, bring on 2022. I think.
Yes, absolutely. Well, mate, you're going better than Planet Bronc. Let's put it that way.
Thank God we're not Planet Bronc. Yeah. It is what it is.
So that's rugby league this week, but did you have anything that you wanted to chat about?
Oh, look, I pretty much wanted to cover off the fact that I was at the track and I really enjoyed it on the weekend, and I'll be going back this weekend. Hung out with the Mugs punning
shout out
on
to
Saturday. Yeah, shout out, gents, and saw that you've got some merchandise.
So let me run through these for you. They have shirts, they have pins, and they have beanies.
Yeah, how good. I got given a free pin on Saturday, so I'm very ecstatic for that. Thanks, Moz, for that.
Mine must just be in the mail, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe they're just holding on to it until you meet them at the track.
That is
one day this carnival.
That would be like them. But yeah, give the Mugs a follow. They have some brilliant merch. The beanies are looking very nice. They're the puffy ones.
Yeah, you love to see it. And, you know, maybe if you ever venture into the southern states, punters, where a beanie might be a bit more appropriate, because really, Like, I'm wearing a hoodie. I don't really need to right now. But anyway, maybe purchase one of them punters and take that on your journey down south if you're ever in the off-season punting down there.
That is some great advice.
Oh, I'm just looking out for people's well-being.
And so you should. But as we get into the rest of this podcast, what we wanted to do this week was a bit of deal or no deal. Remember that? With Andrew O'Keefe?
Andrew O'Keefe, that's his name. One of the most cheerful chaps I've ever seen grace my television screen.
Well, I thought the same up until this year because he's been some tomfoolery this year.
Is he in a bit of trouble? Is he
a bit of hot water, old Andrew? But the less we say about that, the better. But deal or no deal. So this all comes off the back of we see it every single year. Around this time of year, Hong Kong comes a knocking. And they try and buy some of our up-and-coming stocks. So this week, Queensland horse Orbison, the owners have knocked back $1.1 million to sell to Hong Kong, and I'm pretty sure that horse is from up north. And it's coming down to Brisbane to do its finest work. But the trainer, whoever you are, was saying that they'd knock back 10 times that.
Really?
Well, I think it's just because they haven't trained anything any good. So, they're not.
This is basically a horse which is a potential avenue to put their training stocks on the map.
Exactly right.
Yeah, right.
So, with that in mind, we're going to put up a deal or no deal. We're going to put up a horse and a price tag, and then the other one is going to say deal or no deal and give us a reason why.
Yeah, I like that, man. It's a good concept, and look, I was looking into breeding for this to do a bit of background to see, what is the true worth of a good colt. You're sitting on a squillion if you've got a good colt, but anyways,
that you are, and you can obviously play along in the car at the gym. If you're screaming out deal or no deal with absolutely no context to the people around you. That's a bit of fun.
Should have brought my golden briefcase.
I know. I was thinking about it, but unfortunately, I'm not that gifted in briefcases.
You're not Andrew O'Keefe.
I'm not.
Oh well.
Don't have 25 of them in the studio. But I'll kick it off. My colt, Mo'unga. So he's won $700,000 in prize money. He's won a Group 1. I'm going to offer you $5 million for him, and I believe he's out of Savabeel.
Right. Okay.
Which the stud fee is $100,000.
Okay. So you offer me $5 million.
$5 million.
Okay. So I think that with these colts, what you've got to sort of think about is, do they have a propensity to earn substantially more racing prize money in their career before they retire to stud? And with Mo'unga, I sort of thought about it, and how often do we see these 3-year-olds who are these sort of middle distance to, I guess, out to 2,000, 2,400 metre horses go on and do bigger and better things?
Well, you think about his likely path in the future. We're talking Queen Elizabeth's, Turnbulls, and if he gets out to it, Caulfield Cups.
Exactly right, which are all very lucrative races. However,
is he going to be winning those?
I don't think he's going to be winning those, mate. We saw some of the big boy Group 1s that he raced in post the Rose Hill Guineas, which he won, and he just didn't do very well at all. So I think that crop of 3-year-olds is not that great.
It stinks.
It stinks. So if you came a knocking and offered me $5 million, I'd take it. One of the horses that I looked at for comparison was D'Argento.
Great shout.
So D'Argento won just over $1 million in prize money and won the Rose Hill Guineas, like Mo'unga, but was 4th in a Doncaster and 3rd in the Wink Stakes and 2nd in an Epsom post that Rose Hill Guineas victory. Standing for $16,000 a pop right now.
Right.
So that's, in my opinion, that's a superior track record to Mo'unga. And $16,000 for a service fee. Let's say you service 100 mares in a season. What's that? 100 times 16, 1.6 mil. So you're going to take a few years to get up to $5 million. And that's a significantly better horse than Mo'unga. Plus, you've got to expect a progeny to go on and do good things
Yeah.
with that service fee. So, look, all in all, I'm going to say deal to the 5 mil.
Okay. Interesting.
That's it's a long explanation, but
it is
but that's
very
the logic.
You're very learned in your output. I guarantee you, I'm not gonna be the same. So
That's okay, mate.
It's a deal for 5 mil.
It's a deal for 5 mil. I would take that.
I'll take that in hundreds. Thanks.
Okay. Do you want me to hit you with my cult?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I've got Portland Sky. So he's won 530,000 so far. He's won a Group 1, the Oakley Handicap, over 1,100 metres, and he was second in the Billy Reid over 1,200 metres, which is a weight for age. So his sire, Deep Field,
I like that.
goes for 55K a pop
That sounds like
as a service fee.
stuff.
He also is the sire of Isotope, which is another cracking sprinter filly. So let's say that Deep Field services 100 metres in a season. That's over 5 mil just there. But that's Deep Field.
Yes.
I'm going to offer you 5 mil for Portland Sky right now. Do you take it?
Still has his nuts.
He still has his nuts.
Okay. See, if I was an owner, I think I'm knocking back 5 mil. And I'll tell you why. Because he's probably the most underrated 3-year-old that we have. Because I don't think I remember a horse flying under the radar like Portland Sky has.
No.
He has done it against the older horses in the Oakley Plate, and he somewhat did it. He ran out of his skin at weight for age in the William Reid.
Behind Master Crusader.
Yes. And you're seeing his progeny or, stepsisters or whoever they are.
Half-sisters.
Stepsisters.
Yeah. Doing well. Winning, going well in black type races.
Yeah. So I'm willing to take the punt that, he could have another good season, win another Group 1, whatever it is, and maybe it's another Group 1 at, the Moonee Valley, wherever it is.
Could be like a Manicato. Could be, but it could even go for something bigger like a Lightning or something like that. Yeah.
So I'm saying no deal to that for Portland Sky.
I'd say no deal as well because I think if Portland Sky... I think Portland Sky could win another $1 million in prize money before he gives it away in 12 months' time, pretty comfortably. So that's already...
He's won what so far?
530K.
Okay. Gee, that surprises me. Oh, I split the winnings in the Oakley Plate. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Gelding. Aegon. So he's won $240,000 in prize money.
Yeah, that's just in Australia, isn't it?
I think that's career.
Yeah, right, okay.
Career. So, but when he won, a big chunk of that was that Group 2 or Group 3 that he won in Sydney. And he beat a pretty decent field that day. But as we've said, the 3-year-olds are they any good? I'm going to offer you $1 million to sell Aegon because that's what I've offered. I was going to give you a justification why, but that's actually your job.
That is my job. Look, I will take the $1 million for Aegon. Reason being, if you look at some other geldings who are a bit older, let's take like a Colding, for example. So Colding's 5, maybe turning 6 in September. He's won about 5 mil in prize money, Colding, and he's a cracking, genuine Group 1 horse. I don't know if Aegon's a cracking, genuine Group 1 horse. It could be proven wrong.
He could very well be.
He could very well be. However, he'd need to win some significant black type races to get up to 5 mil. I want to cut my losses and take the 1 mil. Even though theoretically he could race till he's 8 or 9, he could be an absolute dud because, like you said, the 3-year-olds, not crash hot. So,
from memory, he's a bit of a wet tracker as well.
He is too. So you're praying for rain every time he bloody runs.
Which, if you're running him in Sydney, you're probably going to get it.
Yeah.
But in the races that he would be targeting over the mile, the mile is probably some of our strongest stock in this great land of ours.
Yeah.
So
deal for me.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
My gelding for you, Young Werther, 675K He's won so far. I'm offering you $1 million. Deal or no deal?
Oh, young Werter. Crikey. He takes a bit to get into his prep, doesn't he?
He really does.
He's going to lose me a lot of races.
Mm.
I'm thinking it from a punter's standpoint as well, because I believe when he does win, he's going to be double-figure odds for me.
Mm.
But I think he's probably a Group 3, borderline Group 2 horse. So, I'd probably say deal.
Deal. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably take that too, because one horse that I wanted to look at for a comparison was Who Shot the Barman, who won 4.6 mil over his career, and he retired at 9. Yeah, so that's what I mean. But he was a genuine staying horse, 2,000 plus, 2,400 more so, Who Shot the Barman. He did sometimes run the mile, but no, he was a stayer. And if that's what you're aiming young Werter to be, there's just nowhere near as much money up that end rather than the sprints. So I'd probably take the mill as well.
Yeah, okay. My filly for you, the last one, is Personal. So she's won 1.2 million in prize money. But her last prep was checkered, I guess.
Yeah, she had one good race where she finished second, yeah.
I'm offering you 2 mil.
2 mil. 100% I'm taking that.
Yeah.
100%. Not even really considering it. I don't think she's that great.
What would you have taken?
I would have taken 1 mil.
Okay.
For Personal. Maybe even less, honestly. So she's only really featured because she's been racing against horses. She was racing against people. She'd win every race. She's racing against horses her own age. I think once she gets a bit older, I'd be very surprised if she goes on to bigger and better things, especially with fillies. Once they retire, I don't know, fillies and mares can only probably give birth to foals maybe 10 times, I think it is, maybe a dozen max in their lifetime. So you've got to be really picky with that. So they're also not worth anywhere near as much as your colts. So yeah, I would have taken $1 million, I reckon.
Okay. Easy.
September Run's your filly.
Yes.
Sprinter. So she's won 1.3 mil so far.
Coolmore helps.
Coolmore helps that. I'm offering you $1 million. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
She proved that she's not up to it against the open ages. As a 3-year-old, I don't think the sprinting stocks aren't getting that much better, but I look at this group of 2-year-olds and I'm getting scared. I'm getting spooked if I'm September Run.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing Stay Inside, I'm seeing Animo, and if any of them go from a colt to a gelding, holy smokes, there's some sprinting form coming through there. Classic Legends coming back to Australia. Masked Crusader's doing brilliant stuff. So, yeah, September Run $1 million. No.
Yeah. I think I'd probably take it as well. I think out of all the horses we've been talking about, apart from probably Portland Sky, I think she's one who could turn it around. I think Portland Sky will be a good horse. I think she's one that could potentially turn around, but I'm taking $1 million. So she's actually by Exceed and Excel, who is Bivouac sire as well. So maybe they're just really good 3-year-olds.
Maybe.
And they just sort of peak then. But yeah, I'd take the deal as well.
Beautiful. Hope you like that, punters. Let us know if you made a deal or a no deal. We're not going to transact because we just simply don't have that coin. But on we go to the Doomben Cup. So set weights, 2,000 metres, weight for age. Previous winners, Might and Power, Durbridge, Dandy Andy.
Dandy Andy.
And the last horse to win this was the mighty Canedna in 2019. But since 2002, there's been 10 winners. 10 winners have come through the Hollandale Stakes. Now, the form out of that race this year was Zaki, who's come down from Europe, and he's been absolutely fantastic. 50 Stars was second, who's now been scratched, and Shared Ambition ran into third, and I think Avilius ran into fourth. How do you see the Doomben Cup unfolding?
Well, firstly, mate, I just want to say it is a great field, and I really, really hope that Brisbane racing, or Queensland racing rather, really spruiks this up leading into the weekend, because it is a great field. What I sort of noticed was, looking at the speed map, who leads?
Probably Sir Dragonet.
Yeah. I think Sir Dragonet probably gets a nice seat. Brandenburg potentially. I think Toffee Tongue can go forward, but would probably prefer to sit off the pace, just on pace rather, behind the leaders. And I think J-Mac could take Zaki forward as well.
Yeah, Zaki's he is versatile.
Yeah.
Like, he went back in the Donny, but he took a position in the Hollandale. So
yeah, right. Did you see what Annabelle Neesham, Zaki's trainer, said during the week?
No, please indulge me.
Oh, she said, I can't believe how well he's come out of that Hollandale Stakes. He looks an absolute treat. He's been training really well throughout the week. And if anything, the dry track will suit. So she's super keen.
Looking at his form, that's what I picked up as well. And he's my on-top selection, Zaki. I just can't see how he's going to be running a bad race here, especially because the other thing I take into consideration with these European horses, they either go one way or the other. They either thrive down under or they hate it. Now, one of the ones that has hated it is Southern France.
Yeah, just done absolutely nothing.
He was one of the favourites for the Melbourne Cup when he came over here. He finished second last with my money on board. But Zaki, he's been absolutely outstanding. Annabelle Neesham, she is probably, I'd say, most improved trainer out of the national training ranks, I'd say.
Yeah.
From a perspective where we didn't know that much about her going into the season.
She only got her license like 12 months ago or something like that.
Pretty sure she was by herself because she was working with Kieran Maher and David Eustace. But she's outstanding. So Zaki on top for mine. I think, yeah, as you said, can sit close to the speed in a race where there isn't that much pace. Probably 2 wide, 3 wide if he needs to be. Doing no work. J-Mac hits the button. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, and J-Mac gave him a 12 out of 10 ride last start. So I think there's a connection there. I think Zaki's going to be very, very hard to beat. To be honest, the only other horse I'm really considering that could beat him is probably Sir Dragonet. Bossy had some strong words today, which he likes to do before a race to fire himself up, which I respect. I completely respect that. I love the theatre. He's
got about a 50-50 strike rate now.
He does.
Because he hasn't landed one of these for a while.
No, he hasn't. But Sir Dragonet's, I think, coming back in distance from the Tancred in the Queen Elizabeth probably wasn't ideal with such a quick backup. And Bossy's come out and said that he didn't give him the best ride. They were sort of camping at the front in the Queen Elizabeth, and he reckons that he should have taken Sir Dragonet forward. So I reckon he might ride him a bit more positively on Saturday. I don't think the good track's an issue. He answered that query in the Tancred with the victory there. I think keeping this horse in work is a positive. So I think the Mine Eustace stables have got that right. I think he'll run a cracking race. So for me, it's between those two. I'll probably have Zaki on top. He gave him an absolute lesson in racing last start. So that was really impressive, and I don't see a reason to jump off. Ruffy in this race, mate, do you see any that you like?
Not really. I don't know. Could Natoya run a race?
Oh, she could turn up, yeah.
You just don't know about that horse.
She could turn up. There's a horse here who, I'm a bit of a sucker for, with the red and white striped silks, Toffee Tongue.
The tongue.
Gets onto a good track, which she likes. 2,000 metres is a go. 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds and a first. Draws barrier 3. I think she'll be right in there with a chance. So if you are looking for some value punters, I think Toffee Tongue's probably your best bet at $19. Mugger 2, what are your thoughts?
Oh, what do you do with him? Bowman on board, tick, but thought he'd run a better race than he did in the Queen Elizabeth. And look, he's had the nice run in the All-Star Mile, but admittedly, from the Chris Lee's camp, he's a wet tracker. And his form does suggest that he doesn't mind a good track, but against Zaki and possibly even Sir Dragonet, who's kind of put that wet tracker tag to bed.
Tracker tag, say that quickly 10 times.
He's put that to bed, so I think those two are beating him home, but I do concede he's in with a chance.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got the class. But yeah, I think Zaki for mine is probably on top at the moment, with Sir Dragonet running second. And yeah, Toffee Tongue into the placings.
Yep, I've got the same top two and Mugatoo into third. So Zaki on top. Let's go into our juicy stakes for the week. So last week we had a value play in the same race with the stiffy old Stiff Miser who ran last.
And I had the frontman who ran second last. So
another six pack to you. So I'm losing count of these six packs.
I don't know if we should count that.
And Mousy, my other bonus one, ran fifth. So just outside the top four that we're after. Yeah, each way.
I had So You Win as my each way, who, get this, lost to Warning.
Oh, no.
By an absolute whisker. So that was Warning's first win since he won the Derby a couple of years ago. So you got to love that, punters, but you get that on the big jobs.
I had Vega 1 as my each way, who ran fourth. Yeah, he just wasn't up to that class, I don't think. So lesson learned there. And my best Hangman just was not flying as I suggested.
Yeah, he was not. He was hung up. My best bet, Ruby, my girl, Ruby Saki, lost to your girl, Brooklyn Hustle.
Yeah, and I gave her a push too.
You did give her a push. She was definitely the key danger, and she proved to be.
And J Carr, first time, one of the great gear changes.
Probably the best gear change, I think. But, well.
But onto this week, please, would you give me your value play of the day?
I sure can. So, gave Toffee Tongue a bit of a spruik, punters, but if you want to look outside of the Doomben Cup, race 6, number 5, Spurcraft. $20 at the moment.
23 on my screen in front of me.
23 on your screen, bit of value there. So when he resumed in the Gold Coast, he was just run off his legs on a wet track. Definitely prefers a good track. There'll be a nice speed in this race, so I think he'll get every chance over the distance of 1,100 metres. There's a few other chances in that race. Sugar Boom, Knee Dorp, a couple of key chances, but I think $23, it's worth a shout. Spurcraft, number 5.
Yep. Well, nicely done. I want you to go to the last race on the card for me, and I want you to look at number 17, Designs.
I did look at that horse. Is that the emergency for race 9?
It is. Now, just trying to get this to load, punters. Apologies. But Damien Lane in the saddle, which spiked my interest. That's an interesting booking for an emergency. So
why is Damo taking the ride there?
Why is he? But finished behind Fortified Less Start by less than half a length. And there's been 2 subsequent winners out of that race. I think he's better, or it is better. I don't know if it's a filly or
it's a filly.
It's a filly. I think she's better than the $23 that was on offer. So
26 is right now on my screen. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. She's got great silks, I'll tell you that much for free.
I knew you'd love that. So have we had any scratchings?
We have not as of yet, but keep an eye on that, punters. I think in that race there's some key money coming for Bargain and Grace and Harmony, which is fair enough. But if you want to take them on, I think Designs is a great shout reading into that form.
Yep. So we only need one scratching there, so fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Each way?
My each way, speaking of red and white silks, if you go to race 8, number 8, Groundswell. $8. So race 8, number 8, probably run 8th now. But look, he's been good his last 2 races, picked up a couple of victories. I think he's drawn well here in barrier 8. Should be right on pace and we'll have every chance. And at $8, definitely worth an each way play.
Tell you what, that race has exotics written all over it. You could put punters, Groundswell, Rainier, Tefane, and Garibaldi into a a trifecta, and that thing will pay anything.
There's definitely some value in that race for sure. Saw Tafani in there. I was like, I wonder if Hutcho will have a spec on the weekend.
I won't, but if I was to have a bet on that race, which, in all likelihood I will, I think Rainier is a great shout in that race.
Yeah, Rainier is a good shout.
He's much more consistent as he gets older. Bowman on the back. I'm a bit of a Hugh fan these days. Anyway, my each way, I want you to go to race 6 on the card, and I want you to look at number 2, California Zimble.
California Zimble, yep.
$10 last night, into $9 now. If I was to have one bet all weekend, it'd be on this thing each way.
Very fair. J-Mac on the back. Draw as well.
Likely get a good track, which I do think suits her. The big thing in the form guide, which you will not see, but she's 5 weeks between runs here. First up, she's 5 runs, 3 wins, a second and a third. I'm treating that as if she's first up here. Nice freshen up. I think she's drawn perfectly. J-Mac on board for the Snowdens. She'll be awfully, awfully hard to beat.
Mate, speaking of J-Mac, I'm hoping he has a bloody field day on the weekend too. How much for free? So my best of the day in race 5, number 10. Legay Soleil, I think is how you'd probably pronounce it, or Legay Soleil, or Legay Soleil.
Legay Soleil.
Yeah, bit of a mouthful. But Johnny O'Shea horse, J-Mac on the back, barrier 8. What I like about this horse compared to the favourite Paradis, who I'm also a fan of, is that this horse is third up, likes a good track, going up in distance and down in weight. Paradis is a good horse and was great last prep, but I think might be a bit more vulnerable first up over the distance. So
yeah, absolutely. First up over a mile.
Yeah, I think she's better when she gets out 2,000 plus. So happy to take her on with Legay Soleil. J-Mac will know how to get her into a good place. 55.5 kegs on the back with top weight being Paradis. So at 58.5, Graceful Glamour will provide plenty of speed. Should have every chance. That's my best of the day.
Graceful Glamour has had an awful time of it recently, but
yeah,
she always puts herself out there, and she'll probably get a good track.
Yeah, she will. So I think she's a danger as well, despite her recent form, but I've gone against her due to that.
Yeah, fair enough. I've got Zaki as my best of the day.
Yeah.
I think he's a cracking bet. I was way more keen when he was over $3. $2.50 is getting close to rock bottom odds for mine, but yeah. Zaki and California Zimble, I'm
very keen on. Okay, excellent. I think Zaki's a good bet too. If he gets any shorter than that, don't know if I'll be playing at that price, but definitely one for multis, I think.
Agreed. But I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, mate. How good. At the track again this weekend. So if you want to heckle me, punters, go for it.
Do it. Please do. I will not be there this weekend, but I will be there over the next 6 weeks or so.
It's good, mate. It's good news.
Yeah. But until then, punters, we will see you next week.
Best of luck.